fuck are you doing? Hey! What are you doing sitting in my chair? What the heck are you doing sitting in my chair? Ah, so it's the silent treatment. Is that what it is? Is that what you think it is? Is the silent treatment? How many times have I told you not to sit in my fucking chair when I'm not here? But that's what you do. You get up, you come over here, you sit down because you think people want to speak to you. Is that what it is? Is that what it is? The people want to speak to you? Huh? Answer me! Look at you. Look at you, all orange and long. Wait a minute, that didn't sound good. Listen, I got a show I got to do here, and I can't do it with you. All right? Aren't you supposed to be with the Tanners or back at Melmac or something like that? Or trying to, get with Rhonda? I got a show I got to do here because people, it's Friday night, Elf. What? What? You want to say? Oh, fuck. For God's sake. All right. Fucking son of a bitch. All right, Elf. If you insist, you want me to show you the ropes? Is that what it is? You want me to show you the ropes? Okay, listen. This is my studio. This is my screen here. Okay, here's the microphone. Huh? No. I just use this microphone for the videos. The other, all stuff. Yeah. I got a booth over there. That's where I do the voiceover work. But anyway, so what is it you want to talk about today, Elf? Come on. What is it that you want to talk about here on this Friday, April the 5th, 2019, 9:42 p.m. Eastern Standard Time? Here in North America. Elf, what is it? What do you want to talk about, Elf? Come on. Fuck. Anyway, so, hey, folks, how you doing? Dave McRae here. Anybody a big Elf fan? I was a huge Elf fan growing up as a young boy in the 1980s. And, I remember when they ended the whole series on a cliffhanger, and it wasn't supposed to end there. Contrary to popular belief, it actually, there was going to be a 5th season, which may have been its final season, but it got canceled. So it just kind of left, and then it wasn't until like 6 years later in 1996, that stupid TV movie with Martin Sheen called Project Elf, which had nothing to do with the Tanners, and it was just about Elf being... Anyways, it was garbage. Fucking garbage as far as I'm concerned. It was a shitty ending to what otherwise was a very charming, witty, and funny 1980 sitcom. And of course, I had the pajamas, and I had the whole fucking... I had everything. I had the pajamas, I had the sheets, I had the doll. That doll. This doll. I kid you not, I have had this doll for 33 years. I've had this doll since I was 7 years old. This doll is in amazing shape. Like, I kid you not. The shape that he is in. Now, of course, his hair is all kind of matted and everything, but that's what his hair was like. I don't know if you guys remember, but that's actually what it was like back like on the show. And also, when you pick up the doll, that's what it was like. The doll, the stuffed animal. Seriously, he's in amazing shape. 1986. This was given to me for Christmas. And I was, in 86, I was 7. So there you go. Fucking over there. Anyway, so, how are you guys doing? I just wrapped up some voiceover work, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to jump on again. I think you guys are awesome, and why not jump on again? Hey, for those of you that are in the room tomorrow night, look out for it. For those of you that are part of my level 2 and 3 on my Patreon, just a reminder that we are doing a Saturday movie night tomorrow night at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we're watching Child's Play from 1988. Now, for those of you that are not part of my Patreon or even part of my first level of Patreon, that will be available to you once the live feed is done. So look for my Saturday movie night with Child's Play. If you're not part of my Patreon, look for it probably around, 9 o'clock, maybe 9:30, somewhere in there. It'll be up on my channel, so look out for that. But yeah, so I just thought I would jump on. It's Friday night. This is 2 live streams. Well, if you include the 2 dudes and some bullshit, this is the 3rd live stream in a week. What the fuck is going on? Sometimes you got a little bit of time. You want to jump on, see how you guys are doing. Grave Warmer says, Dave, Pet Sematary was solid, just for your information. I haven't seen it yet. I've heard mixed reviews. I've seen people not like it. I've seen people like it. Quite frankly, there was nothing. And you guys know this. I said this to you when I talked about Pet Sematary, and I talked about the trailer, which was, I didn't realize I wasn't supposed to talk about, the shit that was in the trailer. But anyway, so when I talked about that, I said that, yeah, the trailer looks fine, but there was nothing, it just looked like a standard, typical horror movie to me. And the fact that there are some people walking away from it, not everybody, but some people that are walking away from it going, it was fine. I'm just like, yeah, yep, that's pretty much par for the course when it comes to major Hollywood horror movies, right? You remember the saying, most horror movies suck. Now, I'm not saying that sucked. I'm just saying that when we look at the bigger picture, most horror movies, most suck. And then there's some that are pretty good. And then there's even fewer that are really good. And there's like maybe 10 that are amazing. Do you know what I mean? So, it doesn't surprise me that people are walking away from Pet Sematary going, yeah, it was okay. And then you got some that are like, yeah, it was great. It was fine. So I haven't seen it yet, but I'm sure I will. But I'm not rushing out to the theater to see it. I'm just like, yeah, I don't need to see that in the theater. I might, right? I don't know. My buddy Bruce is flying across the country over the next month or so. He's doing he's visiting all of the White's locations across the country. For those of you that don't know, my buddy Bruce is the National Manager of Education Training at William F. White International, which of course is the largest distributor of motion picture and theatrical equipment in Canada. They deal with Hollywood and all that kind of jazz. So I was talking to him today and he was like, yeah, I'm back in Toronto, but I'm only back for the weekend. And then I got to fly out to Calgary on Monday. And I'm like, dude, it's fucking intense. Nature of being in the biz, boys. Nature of being in the biz. Hey, okay, let's see what we got here. The Stacking Stormtrooper. Rich Moore, it was nasty to say the least. Oh, he's talking to somebody else. Black Death Metal Warrior says, you are right, Dave. Most horror movies today are terrible, like Halloween 2018. That movie was terrible. Let's see here. Aaron Keller says, I still have my elf. Awesome. That's sweet that you still have your elf, because as you just seen, I still have my elf. I love that fucking thing. And 33 years old. That elf is older than some of you. I mean, I've had him since 80. He's in amazing shape. I'm one of those people, okay, that whether it's movies and VHS tapes or boxes, they look like, unless something happened to them, like I accidentally spilt something on, whatever the case is. Like I have VHS tapes from the 80s that are in immaculate condition. Like you'd look at it and you go, so did you just buy that at Walmart this afternoon? It's like, no, I bought it in 92. But it looks like, my God, it's got the sheen and the shine. It's like, holy shit. It's amazing. Like you see that little shine up there on the Friday the 13th part 2? See kind of a little shine off in the corner there? The glare. I bought that in the early 90s. It's in immaculate condition. I'm one of those people. Hey, Hector Rodriguez says, hey, Dave, love your channel. What are your feelings on Midsommar? Oh, well, thank you, Hector. I appreciate it. I'm really looking forward to it because I'm a big fan of Hereditary. I think that was a really solid horror film, psychological horror film. And if you want to know my thoughts more in depth, you can tune into my last Two Dudes and Some Bullshit from last week where Tony and I talked about Hereditary. We went like full on into it. So check that out if you haven't. I'm really looking forward to Midsommar because obviously it's directed by the same guy that did Hereditary. So, and it looks like it has another sort of potentially cult angle to it. He's obviously got some real messages he wants to say in that kind of theme. And I got to say, it's when it's done right, when it's done well, what seems ordinary ends up being extraordinary and very creepy, and sometimes those are the best, creepiest horror films. Not the blood, not the guts, not the gore, not the guy with the chainsaw. Sometimes it's shit like that, man, and you guys have heard me talk about that ad nauseum. Daniel Newbegin says, hey Dave, seen Us yet? No, I have not seen Us, not since a couple of days ago, since the last time I talked to you guys. Let's see here. Jonathan Nichols says, any Masters of the Universe news? Yeah, somebody asked that question a couple of days ago. They're shooting it this summer, and they've already cast somebody to be He-Man, but he's not that big, and he doesn't have that much time to get big, and I hope they don't CGI anybody or put him in a suit, so I'm assuming maybe he's Prince Adam. Google it, you'll find it. That's really all we got going, but they're shooting this summer, and I'm like, I hate to say this, because like I said, I know a few people who work for Sony Pictures, and I hate to say it, not that I don't know anybody who's working specifically on that project, but I always am like, I hate to say this, because Sony, of course, is the studio behind it. I'm just kind of like, I got no confidence in it. I don't. I have very low expectations for a Masters of the Universe movie, which pains me because I am a huge Masters of the Universe fan, but I just don't think they're going to do it right. There's a very specific formula that needs to be taken on to really give Masters of the Universe awesome success. I got a video on my channel. Type in Dave McRae, Masters of the Universe. Check it out. It's like 45 minutes long. I go fucking intense on it. Anyway, so Chris Baber, need to do a serious classic movie throwback after Child's Play. Original I Spit on Your Grave. Hey, that's not a bad idea. That's a really good idea. Maybe I'll go like full on just 60s, or something like that, or 70s. Yes. Great suggestion. I think I'm going to do that for the next Saturday movie night. Chris, he's on fire. Let's see here. Megatron Traps, Halloween 5 or Halloween 2018? Is that what you're asking? Halloween 5 or Halloween 2018? I'm not sure what you're asking. Let's see here. Let me scroll back. Look at all my children. You were all my bitches now. No. Let's see here. Phoenix Rage says, Dave, how do you feel about Terminator Dark Fate movie coming out later this year? Meh. I mean, really, meh. I haven't liked any of the promotional material that they put out, including the 3 or 4 images they released. Was it yesterday? They're just so standard. There's just nothing, like, they're not bad images. The lighting is good. The composition is good. It looks like what you would expect from a polished Hollywood blockbuster, and therefore is the problem. I think Terminator needs to go back to the gritty sort of, maybe $30-40 million budget. I just think it needs to do that. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if Linda Hamilton can save this, because certainly nobody gives a fuck about Arnold anymore. I love Arnold. Who doesn't love Arnold? He will go down in history as one of the greatest action stars of all time, one of the greatest movie stars of all time. Okay, for a specific genre, but you know what I'm saying, right? And he was one of those. Yeah, I mean, he's Arnold fucking Schwarzenegger, right? But nobody gives a shit about him anymore, because nobody's going to see his movies. He's not the Arnold he was 25 years ago. Of course not. Nobody's going to see him. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. So really, at the end of the day, I mean, he was in Terminator Genesis, right? Nobody gave a fuck about it. Nobody cared. So they're hoping, okay, let's pretend those didn't happen, and let's make this an official sequel to T2, and we'll bring back Linda Hamilton, and we'll get Tim Miller, who did Deadpool, and it's like, okay, all right, okay, we'll see. But I haven't been blown away by anything I've seen so far, but we'll see. A lot of time left. Ninja Assassin 714 says, what is your favorite Chucky kill? I have no idea, because I haven't seen the vast majority of the Child's Play movies, because I think they're garbage. And I like the first 2, I think. I gotta say, I gotta go classic. I loved the hammer to the eye, and out goes what's-her-face through the fucking window to the ground. I love it. It's great shit. Yeah, I'll just do that. I mean, I'm sure there's a ton of other kills, but I haven't seen Bride of Chucky. I haven't seen Curse of Chucky. I haven't seen Cult of Chucky, because I don't give a fuck about them. Because Chucky was garbage after anything. Like, I just watched recently. I'm doing a Saturday movie night tomorrow night. It's part of my Patreon. So I just recently, the other day, watched Child's Play, because I wanted to watch it on my own before I watch it giving commentary on it, right? Because I hadn't seen it in a long time. And I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it. And Chucky there's a couple of sarcastic lines in the first film. There's a couple of moments where he's a little sarcastic, a little witty or whatever it is, right? Like when the old lady gets off the elevator and he's like, fuck you, that kind of thing or whatever. Like, sure, okay, fine. But he's like nowhere near what he became. Okay, it's the equivalent of like Freddy in the first movie and Freddy in like Freddy and Jason Lives. Freddy in the first movie and Freddy in Freddy's Dead, right? You know what I mean? I just don't care for that Chucky. The first Child's Play was genuinely creepy. It was a really cool movie, So, yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen most of the films, so I'm sorry, I can't answer it for you. Michael Anderson says Lost Boys or Near Dark. Oh, I don't know. I haven't seen either in a long. I've seen Lost Boys, haven't seen Near Dark, so I couldn't tell you. But let's scroll back up here, see if we're missing anybody. Anybody new? Anybody rocking it? Rocking it all night. Let's see here. Scrolling down. Joanna from Canada. Hey, Dave. This is random. I believe you liked the movie Shattered with Tom Berenger. You would be correct. Wow, you have a very good memory. I guess I mentioned that a long time ago. Did you ever see the movie Betrayed with Deborah Winger? I loved it. Betrayed. No. For a minute, I thought you were talking about the movie Deceived with Goldie Hawn, which is another good one. I have not. Thank you for the recommendation, though. I'm gonna look that up. But you're right. I love Shattered. Oh yeah, loved it. It's very, because it's an early '90s movie. A lot of early '90s movies, depending like whether it's Shattered, Sleeping with the Enemy, Deceived. You know, a lot of these movies have a very sort of TV movie feel to the production value in some ways. But Shattered is great. If you guys haven't seen Shattered with Tom Berenger and Bob Hoskins is in that movie too, of Who Framed Roger Rabbit fame. It's really good. It's creepy. I mean, it's a little soap opera-y in its early 90s, but it's a creepy mystery. It's really good. Check it out if you guys haven't seen it. Okay, here. Let's see. Kyle Sanders says, excited for Stranger Things 3. I am. Yes, I'm looking forward to that. I'm in the middle of watching the second season now over again. I've watched both, but I'm catching up on that shit. So I will. Yeah, I am. I'm looking forward to it. Sean Marling says, hey, Dave, let's talk Cobra. I wish I could, but I haven't seen Cobra in years, so I wouldn't know what to talk about. It's been too long since I've seen it. I'd have to brush up on it. Phoenix Rage, Dave, if you could make a Scream 5 movie, what would be your story? I love you guys. Such detailed questions for such a quick medium. I have no idea what would be my story. I don't know. It's too loaded of a question. Let's see here. Scrolling back. Yeah, yo! I don't know what that was. David King says, hello, Dave, and everyone. Outside of Nick Castle, who is your favorite actor or stuntman to play Michael Myers and why? Well, I mean, I think that James Jude Courtney was probably the second best. I think it was because I think George P. Wilbur would have been okay had they just removed the shoulder pads, but I guess he was just the wrong size or something, or they wanted more of a broader person. And then, of course, by Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, George P. Wilbur had packed on the pounds a little bit. He was a bit heftier in that movie. But I thought James Jude Courtney did a great job. Yeah, because there's not, like, I think people have to remember that, Nick Castle was just walking. And now everybody since then is trying to emulate what somebody was doing naturally. Nick Castle wasn't doing a walk. He wasn't doing anything. Okay, yes, rising up like this and turning his head was a shtick. That was something that was thought of and calculated. May have even been directed to do so, fine, and the head tilt and all that kind of stuff. But in terms of his walking or moving down the stairs, up the stairs, across the street, behind the bush, whatever it is, he's just being himself. It would just be like you there, and I just say, okay, go, and you just do it. He was probably told, don't move too quickly, don't be too, because you are a certain type of character, but just do it. I don't care what you do, just do it. So everybody since then has felt like, well, there's some, real sort of deep-seated, method, acting to his portrait. No, there's not. Like every time somebody asks him at a convention, so how did you how did you do the walk? He laughed. He's like, I just walked across the street. And it's funny because if you ever have an opportunity of seeing Nick Castle in person and actually walking, okay, like when I met him a few years ago here in Toronto at Fan Expo, I happened to catch him leaving the table and going off for lunch or whatever it was. And although at that time he would have been 67 or however old he was, he certainly he's not walking upright and spry like he was, 25, but certainly his walk, he's walking. And when I saw him walk from the table to around the corner behind the curtain, I actually caught myself going, that looks like Michael Myers walking. And it does. Like, you put the fucking jumpsuit on him and the mask, and it looks like, okay, maybe he's an older, a little bit of a belly, but it's the same walk, because that's what Nick was doing. So everybody said, how did you, and it's really like, nah, I just was walking, so, everybody since then has been trying to emulate this walk, when in reality, it's just, the best thing I think anybody could do, really, at the end of the day, is just walk. You know what I mean? Don't do necessarily what Dick Warlock did. He was trying to make it his own, and they were okay with that. Okay, fine. But I think at the end of the day, I think you should just walk. And I think the reason why James Jude Courtney, why it looks so good, is because that's just what he was doing. He was mindful of maybe, how to turn his head or do this and do that. Like, he was very mindful not to be jerky with his movements, but at the end of the day, he was just walking. And I think that's why it probably looked so good, was because it just looked natural, at the end of the day. That would be my thought on it anyway. Luke Glanton says, are you a fan of Conor McGregor? No, not really. I'm not a fan. I just think he's a lot of talk. And I think if you want to be considered a real champ, not that he hasn't had fights and won, but now that he's sort of been thrown into the spotlight, he's ran away. When he was winning his fights, people knew who he was, and they knew, oh, he's kind of a tough guy, and sure. But it wasn't really until the Mayweather sort of wild circus that the whole world began to really know who this guy was, and, oh, he's one of the best. But he's fought one fight in the UFC in like 3.5 years. That's not a champion. When you look at George St. Pierre, and I'm not just saying this because he's Canadian, but if you look at him, that's a champion. He defended his title, like 9 times or something astronomically ridiculous like that? That's insane. That's a champion. When you win, you go out and defend it. Then you've earned the right to call yourself a champion. Not that Conor McGregor wasn't a champion. I'm just saying that it's just he's got so much money now that the drive to compete is gone. He just give a fuck. Do I think he's actually retired? No. He'll come back, and it'll sell tickets, and people will watch him. But I think if you want to be considered great and one of the greatest and a true champion, then you got to fight. And, say what you want about St. Pierre, but he was a great champion and one of the greatest of all time. Not because he was great in terms of his style and things like that, but because he defended his title 9 times against good guys. Are there people coming up today that might be able to take him? Sure. But that's, we're talking about his time, right? So, yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. I'm just like, when I heard he was retiring and now there's somebody accusing him of sexual, it's just kind of like, fuck, Conor, shut up. Like, just shut the fuck up. Okay, just go away. Like, fight or shut up. I don't care. Like, the way he walks around, like it's supposed to be some sort of, I don't know why he feels he demands so much respect. He lost his last fight. He lost to Mayweather. He put up a good show. Fair enough. But he still lost. Right? So, and he's walking around doing the whole, it's just like, he's a character. He's a performer. He really should just get into movies and acting and join a circus. That's what he should do, because that's his biggest strength. Okay, let's see here. Oliver Mercer says, hey Dave, will you watch WrestleMania 35 on Sunday? No. Mike Johnson, I think what I liked about Halloween 2018 was that it had a simple story without a lot of the confusing mythology. I still like the Thorne trilogy, but it was refreshing to go back to the basics. There you go, folks. That's why Mike Johnson likes Halloween 2018. JJ Harrison says they should have done Halloween 2018 like the new It and just left it there. Well, they did just leave it there. I'm not sure what you mean. They should have done Halloween 2018 like the new It and just left it there. I'm not sure what you mean, JJ. Let's see here. Kyle Sanford says, hey, Dave, what are your thoughts on the upcoming Big Trouble in Little China remake sequel with Dwayne Johnson? Yeah, I think that's hilarious. I'm a little worried we're getting a little saturated with Dwayne Johnson because he's becoming so many different characters that I just am a little tired of him, and it's a little emotionally confusing. And what I mean by that is, years ago, somebody would, and I know things have changed. I get that. But it just seems like he's like many different, he's always there, and he's charismatic and he's entertaining, but I'm just a little Dwayne Johnson out, I think. So, to do Big Trouble in Little China with Dwayne Johnson, it's like, so he's just basically Hobbs in Big Trouble in Little China, and maybe he cracks a few more jokes. Like his characters are starting to bleed into each other, because when you hire somebody as big as Dwayne Johnson, that size becomes part of the narrative, right? So he's a spy that's huge. He's a cop that's huge. He's a gangster that's huge. He's a rogue rebel that's huge. It's kind of like, and of course, I'm not saying he needs to lose all this, this weight. I just mean that he's cast in these actiony kind of, it feels like he's playing the same guy. It's like Liam Neeson. Love Liam Neeson. But it gets funny because my girlfriend and I will often be like, it's kind of funny when you watch Unknown, when you watch the 3 Taken movies, when you watch Run All Night, when you watch Cold Pursuit, when you watch, The Commuter, right? Like whatever it is. All the movies are good. Well, apart from Taken 2 and 3 aren't that great. But, like, they're all good movies, right? And he's not necessarily playing the same character, but you can certainly kind of make a fun joke about how it's the same guy going through tons of crazy shit, right? Oh, my God. Here we go again. And it's just kind of the characters begin to bleed into each other. And Dwayne Johnson's even worse than that. And I just find that a lot of his characters are just like, it just feels the same to me. So I'm just a little Dwayne Johnson out at the moment. Okay, let's see here. Scrolling back, ladies and germs. Michael Woodhart, have you ever seen Bubba Hotep? I have. Yes, I have. It was funny. Very funny. Megatron Trap says, do you think Toy Story 4 is unnecessary? Yes. And the trailer did nothing for me. I was like, whatever. Mike Johnson says, Dave, have you seen Hoosiers? Hoosiers, such a great sports movie. No, I haven't. Let me see here. Wayne Downey says, if you ever do a video talking about the few negative things about John Carpenter's Halloween, maybe you could follow it up with a few things positive about Halloween 5. It might be fun to watch. Well, this is what I can tell you. I like Halloween 5's open credit sequence. I've said that before. I like the pumpkin carving it's kind of cool. I like the laundry chute scene with Danielle Harris. I've always thought that was kind of cool. It's a cool scene in a garbage movie. And I love the fact it still kind of feels a bit like autumn, and Haddonfield, you still get a sense of that town. But that's it. That's it. I mean, I can't even really say I like Donald Pleasance as Dr. Loomis, because in this movie, he's just fucking, he's, you know where he is, don't you? Doctor, get away from it! It's like, what the fuck is going on here? It's insane. So I can't even say I like him. I mean, it's like, what the fuck, man? Crazy shit. Let me scroll down here. JJ Harrison says, sorry, Dave, what I meant to say was they should have done a remake of Halloween the right way, and nothing like Rob Zombie's remake, and ended the Halloween series on a somewhat high note. A remake of Halloween. Yeah, I just think that, I don't know. Listen, in all sincerity, I for those of you that are watching that really love all the movies and just want more Michael Myers. You don't care whether it's good or bad. I mean, obviously you always hope it's good, but you don't care. You just want more Michael Myers or a ton more horror films or like, whatever the case is. Really and honestly, I wish I could be like you, because I think it would be more fun to be like you, because I think you're probably less disappointed. But I have very high standards, and I look at things maybe through a different microscope. So I just, when I see that, I'm just like, yeah, I don't know how to answer that. I just think they should have left it after the first Halloween movie. Certainly after Halloween 2, and they fucked it up with 5. 4, I don't care much for 4, but 4 certainly is the better. It's a decent. All, like, considering there was a 7-year hiatus, it's not a bad return. Of course, there's things in it that they should have done differently. But 5 is where that was it. 5, it was done. Super chat. Thank you very much. This is from Mustack Reviews. Says, hey, Dave, mate. It's calling me a mate, so you must be from across the pond. Love your work. Love from AU. That one, okay, not across the pond, from Australia. All right. Have you watched the Joker trailer and thoughts? Also, did you see the Annabelle 3 trailer? I did see the Annabelle 3 trailer, and my thought was, I haven't seen the previous 2 Annabelle films because I really don't give a fuck about the character. I think she's a utility player, and I think she served her purpose in the first Conjuring film, and that's where they should have left it. And I think the same thing for the Nun. I don't think they're strong enough characters on their own to carry a movie, and, well, that was proven. And but if you are going to do a movie about Annabelle, then the Annabelle 3 trailer to this, that's where you should have started. That's what you should have done. This new Annabelle 3 should really just be the Annabelle film that some people have been waiting for. The Joker trailer, yes, I did see it, and I will reserve my thoughts until this Sunday night on Two Dudes and Some Bullshit episode. What are we up to? 18 now? 19? Fuck. We are going to be talking about the Joker and the Batman movie and the DC universe. And it's going to be fun because Tony and I are not traditionally superhero guys. So we don't know a lot of the fine details of the superhero universe. So we're coming at it from a more, maybe less subjective point of view. So it's going to be a lot of fun to actually kind of see, what 2 guys who aren't necessarily heavily involved in the details, what our minds come up with of what we want to see or where we think things should go. So tune in Sunday night for that. Let me see here. Super chat. Thank you, CJ Kid 1231. Are Alien, Predator, and Terminator to sci-fi as what horror what Freddy, Jason, and Michael are to horror, like the big 3. It depends, because Alien and Predator are science fiction horror in some ways. Terminator is just science fiction. So I don't know. That's a good question. Definitely the big 3 in terms of the slasher genre would be Freddy, Jason, and Michael. So you're right there. I think you could make an argument for that. I think you could. Yeah. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that fully, but I definitely think you could make an argument for that. Okay, here. Let's see. Yeah. 5-4 time. Derd Todsking says, are you a fan of the X-Files, Dave? Yes, but I'm not I wouldn't call myself a fan, but I enjoyed watching a bit of the show. I didn't watch it nearly as much as some people did, though, and I really would love to go. I started to watch a few of them, of the old ones, yeah, they're fun to watch. Yeah, I say so. Yeah, they're fun to watch. Let's see here. What do we got here? Aqua 10 Jinwan. It's a hell of a name, man. Hell of a name. Hey, Dave. Why do you think we haven't gotten a teaser for episode 9 yet? Because the teaser is coming at Star Wars Celebration. That's why. Now, I don't have any inside information to that, but logically speaking, I think that's where we're going to get the title and the teaser. And when is Star Wars Celebration? Comment in the chat room, folks. When is it? It's not this weekend, is it? No. Is it next weekend or the weekend after? I think it's next weekend. Maybe it's next weekend. I'll rely on my lackeys in the chat room to tell me what weekend Star Wars Celebration, because it's this month, right? It's April. So, yeah, let me know. Let me know. All of you are Googling it right now. You're Googling it right now. You know you are, you sons of bitches. Arca Mike 05 says, have you played the Friday the 13th game? I've played bits and pieces of it, but I haven't played it all the way through, and I definitely want to do that. CJ Kid 1231, another super chat. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Just want to say thanks again and bless you, Dave. Also, are you a fan of Star Trek? I am a fan of Star Trek. And thank you. I wasn't a fan growing up, but I think it's because Star Trek, by and large, is a little more cerebral. Certainly the original series and the next generation. And I was a kind of kid that didn't want to think about that kind of stuff. And I haven't come to appreciate the depths of some of the storylines, even though some of the older original series might be a bit cheesy now because of the acting and the technology and all that kind of stuff. But the stories are magnificent, and the bigger picture and themes that they talk about are terrific. So my girlfriend and I will sometimes turn on Netflix and just watch a couple of old episodes when we're having dinner, or it's a Saturday night and we just have nothing to do and we'll watch that. Yeah, we'll do that. And sometimes we'll watch a few of the next generation as well. But I will say, I actually did like what J.J. Abrams did. He needed to do that. And I understand why he did it. So yeah, I'm a bigger Star Wars fan, but certainly I appreciate Star Trek too. Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's see here. Cody Leach, you son of a bitch. He's in the chat room, ladies and gentlemen. Cody, super chat from the Cody Leach, folks. The Cody Leach over on Cody Leach's channel. Cody, you didn't have to do that, but it's always appreciated. Everything goes right back into the channel, folks. What's the next King novel? Do you want to have a modern adaptation? I want a modern-day Christine, 2020 teenager restoring a 50s Plymouth Fury. That's a good question, Cody. Let me see here. I'm going to have to say Christine is a good one. Some people have said Cujo, and that's a tricky one because a lot of that takes place in one location and in the confines of the yard and the house, and that would take some skill to keep it really interesting. And dealing with animals is always very difficult. Christine is a good one. Jesus, Christine. Yeah, let's go with it. I don't want to take too much time thinking here, but I might come up with something maybe as time goes up. But that's a good one. Yeah, I think Christine is a good one. I think you could have some, especially nowadays too, because with Transformers and cars and trucks and the Fast and the Furious and cars and all that kind of shit. Not that it would be a car like that, but just that it might resonate with some people. Oh shit, people who didn't grow up with the 80s films, like, oh, we got a car, it's a horror movie, a car that comes alive. Oh shit, like that's actually smart. That's not a bad idea. It might be a good time to be thinking about something like that in terms of Christine. Do you know what I mean? So that's not a bad thing. There are others that certainly could use one too, but I'll think about that. Cody. Good job. Yeah, I like that. I like that idea. Josh Chandler at Dave McCrae. What are your thoughts on Avengers Endgame? Are you looking forward to it? Well, I haven't seen Avengers Infinity War because I'm not a big superhero fan. Now, when I say I'm not a big superhero fan, don't mistake that to say that I hate superhero movies, because every superhero movie that I've watched, I've really enjoyed for the most part. I'm just not emotionally attached to it, so I'm not one of those people that is rushing out to see it. So I'm sure it'll break box office records. It will no doubt become the highest grossing opening weekend, probably smashing its predecessor's record and whatnot. And so, yeah, I am excited because there are movies that I get really excited about, right? Like Halloween or Star Wars, whatever it is. And for those of you that are really excited for Avengers Endgame, maybe this is your Halloween. Maybe this is your Star Wars. Maybe you're just, I am excited for you. I'm really excited for you because I know what that's like. I know what it's like. When I walked in to see The Force Awakens, oh my God. Even when I walked in to see The Last Jedi, that was before I knew it was a pile of dog shit. I get it. It's like an event, right? You're really excited. And you're like, shit, you know? Totally get it. So I'm excited for all of you who are that excited to see Endgame. Unfortunately, I'm not, just because I'm not emotionally attached to the genre. Let's see here. Super chat. Thank you. CJ Kid 1231 says, can you see an argument being made for Texas Chainsaw Massacre 74 being better than Halloween 78? Might be a silly question. Well, there might be an argument to be made, but I haven't seen the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original, in quite a few years. So I would have to... I'm one of those people that when I don't... if there's a movie that I haven't seen in quite some time, unless I'm really familiar with it, I will always say that. That's a movie I haven't seen in a while, so I'm not really sure. And I don't want to say yes either way, because I could watch it tomorrow and be like, oh, yeah, no, I shouldn't have said that. So... But could there be an argument to be made? Maybe. Yeah, there might be. I mean, it's a beloved film. I think the franchise, for the most part, apart from the 2004 remake with Jessica Biel, I think that was actually a solid remake. Apart from that, I think the series has just been dog shit. I just, because I don't think there's too much you can do with Leatherface, you know? It's like Ghostface. Really, at the end of the day, like, the shtick is up, you know? It's kind of like... Well, a lot of horror characters in some respects. Some have longer shelf lives than others, but there's not... I just think Leatherface doesn't really have the shelf life that maybe a Freddy or Jason has. Let's see. David King says, Dave, Stranger Things Season 4. If you were the writer or director, what ideas, plot twists, new characters, killing off, exciting characters would you do? I don't know. I haven't seen Season 3 yet. I have no idea. I would be basing... my response on what I know up to at the end of season 2, and that's not right? I have no idea. It's a great question, but I think it's a bit premature. Ask me again in the summer, and then maybe I'll be able to answer it. Let's see here. Black Death Metal Warrior says, oh, he's responding to somebody. Daniel Hammond, no more Jeepers Creepers, please. Yeah, well, and that's a controversial series anyway, of course, because of the director, right? And what the director not is accused of doing, has actually been convicted of doing. He did do it. So I mean, it's kind of like it's a bit controversial. Aaron Ponder says, hey Dave, what do you think if they did a Scream remake? No, it's too... No, why? No, you'd be doing this. No. I love you guys. No. Chris Hurley, Dave, your thoughts on Rambo 5? I am looking forward to Rambo 5. I am looking forward, bitches, to Rambo 5. That's right. Me and Sly. Yeah, that's right. I'm ready. Sly. Sylvester Stallone, if you're watching. I'm ready, man. I'm ready to tackle that Mexican drug cartel. Let's fucking do this. Let's do this now. Come on. This is real, by the way. And extremely sharp. So I better be careful. I better be careful with that. I am looking forward to Rambo 5 because I loved the shit out of Rambo from 2008. I thought it was just balls to the wall, testosterone fun. It was what a Rambo movie should be. And what they were in the 1980s, obviously. It's just that they're a little dated now in terms of the effects and the production value because the movies are over 35 years old. But it was fun to see. And coming off of the huge success of Rocky Balboa, critically and at the box office, that was really nice to see. Now, Rambo didn't do quite as well critically, and I don't think quite as well at the box office, But it was well received by fans. Most fans love Rambo from 2008. And they could have just ended it there. I think that's fine. You know, he goes back to his farm. He's walking up to the house. You see the mailbox with his name on it. That would have been great. I don't think anybody was like, you know what? It's too bad there's not another John Rambo movie. I don't think anybody was. The fact that he's doing it, okay, why not, right? He goes back to what works. He's still able to do it. I'm looking forward to seeing it. That's going to be a lot of fun. Now, excuse me while I shave. This is how I shave, guys. I use no water and no shaving cream. That's right. Yeah, I just do that. Do it. I go out to my car. That's what I do. I do it from my car. I got a muscle car, so that's why I do it. Okay. No, I actually don't. I do, but I actually don't. I don't shave with that, obviously. Hey, David King, Rocky 1 or Rambo First Blood? Which is better? Rocky 1 or Rambo First Blood? Well, I think they're two completely different movies in terms of their themes, but they're both underdog films in some ways. That's a great question. I'm going to say Rocky is the better film overall. Because I think of how it can relate to the broader themes of everybody. I think everybody at one point in their life has felt like they were the underdog. Everybody at one point in their life has felt like they were behind the eight ball. And although Rambo is behind the eight ball at that particular moment because he's, he's suffering from PTSD and the shit he's got to go through with the town and all that, it's not the same as Rocky. Rocky was, a no good bum from the street, really, as he calls himself, right? And he wasn't really all there. He wasn't simple in the sense that he had the IQ of like 3 or something, but he was a simple guy. He wasn't book smart. He was just kind of he was a simple guy. Not that he was mentally challenged or anything, but he was just a simple guy. And who just liked the simple things in life, and he rose in an extraordinary circumstance to extraordinary results. And everybody, it's about redemption and believing in yourself and doing what you got to do. And not everybody's a boxer, but we can take that and live vicariously through him and apply it to our own lives, whatever it is we're going through. And so I think Rocky touches more people universally than Rambo did. So I think Rocky's the better movie. Let's see here. Scrolling back. Super chat I think I missed. Joanna from Canada. Thank you, Joanna, for the super chat. Am I the only person who enjoyed Stephen King's TV movie, The Langoliers? No, I love The Langoliers. Are you kidding me? Oh, yeah. I remember watching it in the 90s, and is The Langoliers the one where they're on the plane and they get to the airport and everybody is gone or something to that effect? And they can't. I loved it. I thought it was great. There's a movie that might be interesting. Cody Leach was asking earlier what movie may need to be remade. That's that one that might be interesting to think about because it was just a TV movie. I think it was in 2 parts, right? Yeah, I love that film. At least I remember liking that film. I mean, it was way back in like 95 when I saw it, and I was 16. So, I mean, I might watch it now and be like, this is fucking garbage. I don't know. But I remember liking it. Great question. Okay, let's see here. What do we got? CJ Kid, 1231, Super Chat, thank you again. Says, if rank all the films from Rocky 1 to Creed 2, how would you? Oh, I don't know. I probably would go fairly in order. Like if I was going best, I would probably go. Look, Rocky 4 is my favorite Rocky movie, but it's not the best Rocky movie. It's like my favorite Indiana Jones is Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, but I think the best is Raiders. So if you're talking what I think are the best, I think you almost can go in order in the Rocky franchise. You could probably go 1 is first, 2 is probably second, 3 is probably third, probably followed by, well, no, I think actually that's not entirely true. I think you would probably go Rocky first, Rocky Balboa second, and then Rocky 2, Rocky 3, Rocky 4, and then Rocky 5 being do you know what I mean? Like it's almost in order with that. It's hard to say. I have to think more about it, but it's not that much different. Chris Baber, did you ever watch the original Dark Shadows series? No, I did not. I know the series you're talking about, but I'm not familiar with it. I mean, I know it, but I'm not, in the sense that I haven't seen it. So, I haven't, unfortunately. I'll check it out. I should Check it out. Because I remember it, and I remember it actually being liked by a lot of people. Alex G says, Dave, if you were the director to an H3 Season of the Witch remake or reimagining for next year, how would you go about it? I would remake Season of the Witch. I wouldn't do a sequel. I would remake it. And the only thing I would do with Season of the Witch is that I would make it feel more apocalyptic. I think Season of the Witch, as it is right now, because of budgetary reasons, felt very confined. I didn't get the sense that, I know they shot the kids running along the streets, and they would have captions, Chicago, New York, St. Louis, that was all in LA. Certainly to give the sense that this was happening all around the country, right? But because it was a smaller film and it was a small production budget, I never really got the sense that this thing was really happening to everybody across the country, even with those shots of the, kids with masks on. So I would approach it from that point of view, almost like a 28 Days Later or something like that, minus the zombies, right? So like you really get a sense of like this is really affecting a broader scale, and make it really intense, like make it like really legit, and you really feel that this is happening. Like the stakes are high, and you feel for these characters. That's what I would do. I think I would do that. Approach it that way. Now, what the details are and what you have to flesh out from that, I don't know. But that would be my mind frame going into like a writer's room, right? Like, hey, here's a concept. Yeah. Oh, let me see here. Michelle Larsh, right? I hope I'm saying that right. What are your thoughts on the movie? What are my thoughts on the movie? What movie are you talking about, Michelle? Daniel Hammond says, what are your thoughts on Creed 2, Dave? I don't know if you reviewed it. I didn't review it. But I think I've taught. I liked it. I did. I don't think I liked it as much as the first Creed. But I liked it. It was fun. And the only thing that I definitely will say about that movie is that's where it should stop. That's where it should end. There should not be a Creed 3 because there's no need. Because, there were some people that were saying, well, maybe he could fight, Clubber Lang's son. I'm like, why would he do that? There's nothing. Like, the reason why he fought Drago was not because of Rocky. It was because Drago's father killed his father. So it was like a redemption film. That makes sense. There would be absolutely unequivocally no justification or reason for Adonis Creed, to fight Mr. T's kid. Why? That doesn't make any sense. So really, if you had a trilogy planned or 3 or 4 films planned with Creed, you should have left the Creed 2 plot line for the final Creed. And that would have been a great way to end the whole fucking series. Because, quite frankly, at the very end of the movie, they're there, right? Adonis with, was it a boy or a girl? I forget what they had. I think it was a boy, right? Had the hearing aids in, and his wife, they were at his father's grave. Wonderful. Rocky goes home to his son. Wonderful. I think the real Rocky story should have just ended with Rocky Balboa. I think that was a beautiful ending because it's always been about Rocky and Adrian. And at the end of that film, it still chokes me up when he says to her, Adrian, we did it. Right? Just what he used to say way back. We did it! He said it, and then he walks off, takes one last look at her headstone into the camera, waves like this, and he disappears. You know what I'm saying? That should have been the end of the whole fucking thing, because it was always about Rocky and Adrian. It always was. Even when it wasn't, it was. And that was a great full circle. Now, I know the Creed films have nothing to do with him as the major plot point, and he's a side character, but it just kind of feels like the fact that he's there taking on the Mickey role just kind of feels like, and then he gets cancer, and then he goes home to his son. Okay, so he goes home to his son at the end of Creed 2. Great, okay, great. Just leave it now. Or if you're going to do another Creed movie, don't have him in it. Okay, but really, I don't think you need to do another Creed. I liked Creed. I enjoyed Creed 2. It was fun. It was fun to see it. The whole, he's getting his revenge. It was fun. It was fun to see Sly and Dolph again, and that was kind of, nostalgic and fun. But now it's over. Just leave it. It's done. If they wanted 3 more, well, you peaked too soon, as far as I'm concerned. This should be that is the ending to the whole fucking thing. Okay, let's see here. Aaron Ponder says, Dave, do you like the Crocodile Dundee movies? I do, of course I do. You just want me to bust this out again, didn't you? That's not a knife. Now that's a knife. I do. I like the first one, though. The second one, not that much. The first one's fun. Grave Warmer, Super Chat. Thank you, Grave Warmer. You're 17, going on a date for a burger and a shake in your muscle car. Lori, Nancy, or Alice, who would you be taking? Let me see here. I don't know. I do have a muscle car. What would I don't know. Who would I be taking? Lori, Nancy, or Alice? Well, I'm kind of... Oh, hang on. I read that wrong. Lori, Nancy, or Alice. Oh, I see. Okay, for a minute there, I thought I read Annie and Linda. I was thinking of the 3 Halloween films. Okay, Lori. Well, you know what? I'm kind of partial to brunettes. My girlfriend's a brunette. Most of the girls I've dated in my life have been brunettes or a dirty blonde, but kind of brown, right? I've nothing against blondes. If there are any blondes in the chat room, nothing against blondes. But you know how we all kind of tend to gravitate towards certain things. So I guess I'd probably have to say Nancy. Gonna take Nancy for a ride, for a shake, for a malt, and I'll take her to Mel's Diner. Yeah, you want to go to Mel's Diner? Let's go, baby. That's funny. That was a good question. That was fun. I like that. That was funny. ZRS Guitar and Music says, any favorite Denzel Washington films? You know what I kind of like? But I think it's more the concept. There's a lot of great Denzel Washington films, including Philadelphia. People tend to think that it's more of like a Tom Hanks film, but Denzel was great in that fucking movie. But I also like a movie from 2006 called Deja Vu. And I think you probably could put any capable, competent actor in the role, and the movie still would have been just as good. It's more the concept I think I really like. But that's a movie that of his that I actually quite like a lot. Let's see here. ZGRZSki45 says, yo, you skipped my super chat. I did? Oh, well, it's nothing personal. Thank you for saying that, though, because sometimes they go by so quick. So let me see here. There it is. I see it. Great. Hey, guys, if you give in a super chat and enough time has gone by and you see me and it's like, I don't think he's getting to it, let me know and put like an @Dave McRae or something so I see it, because it's never personal. It's just sometimes the thing's going by so fast, and if it goes away from the top, I don't see it, and yada, 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 right? So thank you very much. Okay, what do we got here? Thank you for the super chat. Much appreciated. It says, is there anything you like about Rob Zombie's Halloween? I like the feel of the town. It does feel autumn-esque. It does feel small townish. I like that. But I haven't watched Rob Zombie's Halloween in a long time, because why would I watch a movie I think's dog shit? So I'd have to watch it again to see if there's anything else, because sometimes there is. Even in dog shit films, there might be a moment, as I've said, oh, I like that shot. I like that moment. Oh, I like that part of that scene. Because sometimes that happens, right? But I haven't seen it in so long that I'm not sure beyond that. I can't think of anything beyond that. Yeah. We'll see. Let me see here. The Hydra 92 says, do you like Creepshow? If so, what was your favorite story? Mine was I haven't seen, I know Creepshow. Creepshow 1 had him with the movie theater, right? And then 2 was him actually in the seats, and he's going like this or something, right? On the box art. I remember that shit. I haven't watched them in so long. It's been so long. I remember renting them as a kid. I'd go into the video store and they'd be there and I'd be like, I want to rent Creepshow. I was like, all right. So I'd rent Creepshow. But it's been so long since I've seen any of them. I don't even know what Crate is about. It's just been so long. The one Bretster says, hey Dave, what are your thoughts on Quentin Tarantino, and what is your favorite film that he has directed? Well, as I've said many times, I have a love-hate relationship with Tarantino. There's no doubt that he is extremely talented, but I find him a little eccentric and a little full of himself, and certainly he's in with the big wigs that run Hollywood. so he can pretty much do what he wants. But I just find his movies, I don't know, it's almost like he's becoming a spoof of himself. It's like his movies are almost becoming, it's like they're spoofing his own, because he's established himself as having a certain style and a certain flavor and a certain pacing and a certain kind of feel to his movies. And now it's like he's got to do that, and now his movies almost feel like I'm watching somebody spoofing a Tarantino film. It's kind of got like that. I think the Kill Bill movies are probably my favorite. I like Kill Bill 1 over 2. Yeah, I don't know. It's a love-hate. He's very talented, and I'm looking forward to seeing Once Upon a Time in Mexico, primarily because of the cast. And he casts well, and we'll see. We'll see. But him as himself, too, he's a talented guy, but I find him just very eccentric and a little too much for my taste. Maybe if I met him in person, he'd be really awesome. I don't know. But just what I see is just kind of like, let's see here. Kelsey Lunger says, Dave, how are you feeling about Mark Hamill's The Voice of Chucky in Child's Play remake? Well, I have a video on my channel a couple of videos ago where I talk all about that, so check out that video. Bobby Hall says, Hollywood, not Mex... Oh, thank you. That's right. Because isn't there a movie called Once Upon a Time in Mexico? Isn't there a movie called that with Brad Pitt and Julia Roberts? I thought that was... Or maybe that's something else in Mexico. I think that's something else in Mexico. There's a reason why I said that. There's a reason why I said it. But you're absolutely right, everybody. Hollywood. Ba, 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 ba. Oh, there's an old Western, I believe. Well, what's the one with Brad Pitt and Julia Roberts? That's something in Mexico, too. I fucking forget what that is. Anyway, Oliver Mercer says, if there was one Jim Carrey film I'd love him to reprise, would be Ace Ventura. Yeah, that'd be funny. Here's the thing with comedic actors. Oh, it's just called The Mexican. Oh, that's so weird. Thanks, everybody. For some reason, I thought it was Once Upon a Time. Isn't that weird? Weird. Mandela effect. Because you probably could have called that. Yeah. Okay. Here's the thing with actors that are sort of. There comes a time, like Rowan Atkinson, who plays Mr. Bean, said it best. He said, when asked, are you ever going to do another Bean movie, or are you going to, do Bean and all that kind of stuff? He says, I might. He says, but people have to understand that I'm in my 60s now. And there comes a point where the funny becomes almost sad, because Mr. Bean was a very simple kind of person, not very smart. He ended up sort of, saving the day or fixing the issue or whatever this by being a complete dolt. Like he fell ass backwards unbeknownst to him doing it. Like it was pure luck. And he's funny, absolutely hilarious. But seeing a 60, 70-year-old Mr. Bean, it almost becomes like you almost feel sorry for this old man because he's older now, right? So you kind of cross that line a bit. It's no doubt he could still do it. But that was his reasoning. And he's got kind of a point. Like imagine seeing a 55-year-old Ace Ventura. It almost becomes like even watching Jeff Daniels and Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber 2, which I actually kind of liked it. It's not nearly as good as the first one. But you can kind of see they're older now, right? And it's kind of like this kind of becomes uncomfortable almost. It's kind of sad in some way. Like they look like there's a certain charm when you're in your 30s. And then when you're in your 50s, it's almost like, okay, this is like your dad trying to be cool at your party or something, right? The dad, like doing the dad dance, trying to get in on with your friends is like what it becomes kind of weird and awkward. And you definitely could see that with Dumb and Dumber 2. They pulled it off, no doubt, but it kind of looked a little strange at the same time because of how old they are. They kind of cross that into like, oh, that's just sad. Look at those old people. That not old, but you know what I mean? That never amounted to anything in life. You know what I'm saying? So as much as I would love to see another Ace Ventura because it's one of his amazing characters, imagine at 55, however old he is now, Jim, right, it's just like, oh my God, I don't know. We'll see. Okay, let's see here. Once Upon a Time in Mexico was with Johnny Depp and Antonio Banderas. Thank you. So there was a Once Upon a Time in Mexico. I was right. Just completely the wrong characters. All right. Thank you very much. Yeah, time to shave, bitches. I should do hey, imagine a super Freddy Krueger. There's a super Freddy Krueger with a glove that has these knives. I said this in my last live stream a couple of days ago. And it's like this. Imagine that. On each finger. Super Freddy Krueger. And he's like, you are all my children now. Come get it, bitches. And he's just slicing his way. There's fucking no hope in hell. Can you imagine the blood just spewing everywhere from 4 of these hooked onto a glove? And he's just got like, he's like, Shing-ya! It's like a muscle-bound Freddy Krueger. That would be amazing. He's just like, shing! Imagine these coming out of the bathtub. 4 of these coming out of the bathtub. 4 of these. Ah! Somebody fucking get on that. Make that fucking glove. And you heard it here first, folks. You heard it here first. All right. Joanna from Canada, high on life again. That's right. I am. I'm high on life. High on life. Bobby Hall says, in Nightmare on Elm Street 5, there's a scene where he grows bigger and calls himself Super Freddy. Yes, I remember that. That's right. That's right. Yeah, so all he needs is one. But it's just the shape of it's clearly like a hunting Rambo knife. Like, holy shit. Pretty awesome. JT Grogan, am I saying that right? Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. What are your thoughts on Nolan's Batman trilogy? Oh, I loved it. Obviously, I think most people, I think The Dark Knight Rises was a bit of a step back from The Dark Knight, but I'm actually somebody, like I mentioned on my last live stream, that actually about a year and a half ago, my girlfriend and I watched Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises back to back to back. And I don't usually do that, but I did it. I had already seen them, but she had only seen The Dark Knight Rises. So I was like, oh my God, well, let's watch all 3. So we watched all 3 back to back to back, one afternoon. Took us like, 6 hours or whatever it was. And I actually found myself liking Batman Begins the best. I love The Dark Knight, but I actually think I like Batman Begins better. I actually think it's the best in the trilogy. And I know that's not necessarily a popular opinion, but yeah, I feel. But so overall, I think it was really, that should have been the beginning of the DCEU. That should have been, they should have just fuck it with Marvel and what, I understand why they decided to change it, but that's what it should have been. That's what it should have been. Yes, 100%. Nolan's Batman trilogy should have been the beginning of the DCEU. CJ Kid 1231 says, who's funnier, Freddy or Chucky? Well, I don't know. I'll say Freddy for now, only because I haven't seen most of the Chucky films, so I don't know. Okay. Ha 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 ha. Colin Morris, take your hat off. Take my hat off. Oh my God. There. Look at this. Look at this hair. Look at this hair. I got a lot of hair. There you go. See? Lots and lots of hair. And my forehead's red because my hat's been on all afternoon. I actually have lots of hair. Thoughts on the Joker teaser? Tune in Sunday. Tune in Sunday. Sunday. Tune in Sunday. And of course I had major hat head as well. So excuse the messy hair, folks. Favorite horror. Dan Curley says favorite horror actor of all time. That's tough. Christopher Lee is great. Vincent Price is great. Oh, man. There's a lot. I'll have to think about that. Let's see here. The Horror Junkie 78 says another hate mail video. I plan on doing one. That'd be fun to do. Yeah, for sure. I would like to do another one. Colin Vanyush says thoughts on Phantasm. Haven't seen it in a long time. I remember liking it a long time ago. Let's see here. Let me scroll back. Colin Morris says, did you get that hoodie in Hollywood? I did. Yes, I did. I got it when I was there for the Voice Arts Awards at Warner Brothers. My girlfriend and I, we flew in. That was my second time in LA, actually, in such a short period of time, because the first time I was there was for the Halloween convention, and then we had a bit of a vacation, and then I came home, and I found out I was nominated for a Voice Arts Awards, and the award show was happening at Warner Brothers, and so I flew back, and that was a quick trip, though. That was only like 2 days. So we got there, and then we went over to Hollywood Boulevard and did a bit of shopping and some dining, and then we went to our hotel. And then the next night after that, we went to Warner Brothers, and that was actually my first time at Warner Brothers. So that was a lot of fun. That was great. Class act, those people, I'm telling you. It was a lot of fun to be on the back lot there for the award show. Let's see here. CJ Kid 1231 says, thank you for the super chat. I've noticed that when it comes to franchises, you like the first ones the best. Thoughts on Cobra Kai? Well, I haven't watched Cobra Kai yet, so I have to. I got to watch it. I tend to gravitate towards the originals the best because, especially when it comes to horror films, because generally speaking, if we're talking about slasher movies, the gimmick and shtick wear thin. And I find that the first is usually always the best because it's the freshest. It's like watching a sitcom, right? When you watch a sitcom, okay, whether it's Seinfeld, whether it's The King of Queens, I'm dating myself here. I'm talking old school sitcoms. Whatever. Usually the first couple of seasons are the best in a show, right? I think we can agree with that. Most people would say, yeah, the first few seasons of The Walking Dead were probably the best. First few seasons of, this, that, whatever the case is. It's because the ideas are fresh, the characters are fresh, the motivations are fresh, and they sort of run their course by season 7, 8, 9. It's the same with movies. So when I watch Halloween, or Halloween's not fair because Halloween was always intended to be a one-off. When you watch Elm Street or Friday or Child's Play or whatever, yeah, I tend to, or Scream, I look at it and I tend to like the first one or first two the best because they're the freshest. And by the time you get to 3 and 4, it's boring to me. It's just, and you're opening it up and you're finding more about the characters, or you're losing characters that would otherwise you're emotionally attached to. Like Nancy's gone and now we have Alice. Then Alice is gone and now we have this person. And then Laurie's gone and now we have Danielle Harris. But Danielle Harris is gone, and now, like, it's just, yeah, it's not because I have some sort of elitist mind frame or attitude that the best is always the first one. No, that's just how I feel. Listen, if they can make a great Halloween movie that's Halloween 38, I'll say it. If I walk away from the movie going, that was, and I thought it was, I'll say it was a great fucking movie. It was great. I don't care what number it is. I'm just going by that generally speaking, there is a reason why the sequels in films are poorly received, because narratives wear thin, gimmicks wear off, and you have to keep, justifying things that you wouldn't ordinarily have to do to keep the ball rolling. And then the sensational and weird creeps into the narratives. And then you look at Child's Play, 7, and look at Child's Play 1, and it's like, how the hell they're light years apart. You look at Friday 10 and Friday, what the hell happened? Freddy's dead, and what the hell happened? Right? And there's reasons for that. So I do. I don't care for the sequels. I don't think they're garbage, and I just prefer the better films because I have standards. Let's see here. But that doesn't mean that if they make let's hypothetically say they were to continue the Elm Street franchise, and they don't reboot it, they don't remake it, they make a Nightmare on Elm Street Part 7. Freddy's back. Okay, let's just say that. And it was a great fucking movie. I'll tell you it's a great fucking movie. I don't care if it's 7 or 38. It's just that generally speaking, sequels are garbage. Okay, Robert Hendrickson says, Dave, have you seen Session 9? Yes, love Session 9. It's not for everybody. It's a psychological horror thriller. Pacing's a bit slow, but if you can hold on, fucking spat again. Live streams. That's why you got to get all the water going. If you can hold on and you love the slow burn and the creepy and eerie, it's a good movie. I enjoyed it very much. When I worked at a video store years ago, I used to recommend it to people. Now let's see here. Vegas Courier, absolute worst parody movie you've seen. Thoughts on the parody movies by Aaron Seltzer? Worst parody movie I've ever seen. Probably the scare. You mean like spoof movies? Probably the scary movies, I would say. The first scary movie was kind of fun. I can tell you the best spoof movies are the Naked Gun films, hand down. They are so... I just find them... I'm dating myself again, but I just find it so fucking hilarious. Let's see here. Dylan Clumbatch says, which fictional movie character would you have coffee and lunch with? That's a good question. Fictional movie character would I have coffee and lunch with? Coffee and lunch. Not coffee or lunch. Coffee and lunch. I would say probably, let's say Indiana Jones. Henry Jones Jr. Why not? Tommy Gibbons says, thoughts on the Warriors since this year's the 40th anniversary. I have not seen the Warriors, so I can't give you thoughts on that. But 40 years this year, you're right, it is. Keith Farrell says, thank you, Keith, for the super chat, says, what horror movie do you think needs a remake? Well, none, but what horror movie could be remade, horror movie remade, old horror movie remade? I would love to see a remake of Rear Window. Alfred Hitchcock's, it doesn't need to be remade. I think it's brilliant, but I think in the right hands and playing it that way, like, that movie with Shia LaBeouf, Suburbia or whatever it was, that's essentially a Rear Window remake. But it was very set, in its time. It was very much of its time. I would love to see a full-on remake of... Not that I wouldn't love to see it. I'm just saying off the top of my head, yeah, that would be... If you do that right, if you put it in capable hands and you have somebody who's in an apartment, who has a view of another apartment, you get a really good actor, maybe like DiCaprio. Can you imagine fucking DiCaprio? Oh my God. Can you imagine DiCaprio in a remake of Rear Window playing the Jon Stewart role? Can you imagine? He's sitting there in an apartment. He doesn't have to be in a wheelchair with a broken leg or something. Maybe he's really sick or something, or maybe he's got some other reason, but he's there and he starts going crazy because he's trying to convince everybody else who comes over that he thinks he's witnessed a murder. Like, do you see what I'm saying? If you put it in capable hands with a capable actor, a lead, right? And oh my God, it could be something special. It could be. Right? But you got to play it that way. Don't modernize it in the sense like what they tried to do with the LaBeouf film, which was fine. It was a cute teenage Rear Window version. Okay, a teenage film with the cute girl and him and I get it. But I'm telling you right now, you do a legitimate, serious remake of Rear Window maybe, and really good cast, play it in an apartment building like the original, put it in the hands of maybe somebody like a James Wan. Might be interesting. I don't think we need one. But that would have... If they said, yeah, we're remaking Rear Window, I'd go, fuck. James Wan's directing. DiCaprio starring. Okay. You have my attention. Clint Eastwood is directing. DiCaprio's starring. Okay. You know what I mean? So anyway, we talked enough about that. Let's see here. Super chat message retracted, but a super chat came in. Appreciate it. CJ Kid 1231 says, if you had to create your own horror movie, what would your idea be? Oh, that's a loaded question. Loaded. I'm in development on a major feature length film right now that is a subgenre of horror. So when I can talk more about that in the future, you will know. Let's see here. Josh Chandler says, MIB International is coming out this year. Quick thoughts on it, and what are your feelings on the franchise? I don't really care about it. I really don't. I think the first movie was cute. I mean, I remember when the first movie came out. It was 1997. I was 18. And I thought it was pretty fun. Didn't like the second one. Didn't care for the third one. don't know why they're doing this one. I think you should just leave. I don't know why they feel that this property still has merit. I really don't. It's a dead property. Nobody cares. I mean, you might, okay? So I say this with all due respect. But it's like in the bigger picture, right? Because you're not the bigger picture, and I'm not the bigger picture. I don't think people were clamming for an MIB movie. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. I didn't hear, oh, where's the next MIB? Nobody cares. I don't know why they're trying to get blood from a stone. I really don't. Okay, we'll go a little bit longer. Let's see here. The Horror Junkie 78 says, thoughts on Ghostbusters 3? Well, I did a recent video just a couple of days ago talking about the new news on Ghostbusters 3. Yeah, it's very clear to me that it looks like we're not going to be getting the Ghostbusters. We're finally getting the Ghostbusters 3 we want, but we're not necessarily getting the Ghostbusters 3 we want. So what I mean by that is that we're finally getting a Ghostbusters 3 that is a sequel to the 1989 Part 2. That's the Ghostbusters sequel we've always wanted. That's the Part 3 we've always wanted. But we wanted it with Harold Ramis, Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, Ernie Hudson, Rick Moranis, Annie Potts, Sigourney Weaver, right? You know what I'm saying? And that's long gone. Okay, that doesn't mean that Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, and Ernie Hudson might not have cameos in this new film. They might. But the movie's not going to be 70-year-old fat guys in Ghostbuster costumes running around. You know what I mean? It's the Ghostbusters 3 that we wanted should have happened in like 93, 94. Maybe late 90s. But it's way past. It's past. So doesn't mean it's not going to be good, right? Doesn't mean it's not going to be good. Doesn't mean that we're not going to walk away going, that was really good. I like the way they tied everything in. But at the end of the day, we wanted the other Ghostbusters. It's too late. It was too late. They waited too long. And mostly because of Bill Murray. I mean, if Bill Murray was totally on board, we would have had a Ghostbusters 3 years ago. But he didn't want to do it. And I can't blame him. Tyler Trigg, thank you, Tyler, for the super chat, says, best horror remake post-2000s to you. Mine is TCM. That's hard. Off the top of my head, I would say either the first Insidious or the first The Conjuring. I would probably say that. But then again, if we're looking at psychological horror, I would have to say maybe Shutter Island, or if we're like it depends on what you mean, right? Which subgenre as well. So yeah, good question though. Let's see here. Ba 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 ba. Da 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 da. Dun, 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 dun. Highway. Highway 50, folks. Hawaii 50. Dan Curley says, have you seen The Seventh Seal? No, I have not. Cody Snyder. Is it Snyder or Schneider? Don't you hate when people say it wrong? So why do you think Michael never kills Loomis when he has the chance? He didn't at the end of 6. I never bought that. Why doesn't he kill Loomis? Well, I gotta go into movies that I don't like here. Why doesn't he kill Loomis? Well, I don't think he kills Loomis he tries to kill him. You see, in Halloween 2, he tries to kill him. He stabs him. So he tried to kill him. If you go way back to the original and, the originals. Why doesn't he kill him in 5 when he's standing there? I don't know. I don't have an answer. I hate that movie so much. I just don't know. It's almost not even canon to me. Well, and it isn't now, apparently. Right? So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's a good question. I think it would be better suited for somebody who loves those movies, and then they can give you their theories and ideas. For me, I just don't care enough. I don't know. I don't know why he doesn't. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't because he knows it's his psychiatrist, and he knows that he was the only one that cared for him when others didn't. And maybe his parents never came to visit him when he was sick, and he knew that. And Dr. Loomis, despite the fact that he doesn't care, he had empathy for Dr. Loomis because he was the only one that ever tried to make things right. There. Is that satisfying? I love you guys. I do. Let's see here. The Horror Junkie 78 says, are you excited for Star Wars Episode 9 or did The Last Jedi? No, in JJ I trust. Look, if there's only so much retconning that JJ can do because the cards have been dealt and he has to, are there certain things I think he's going to go back on? 100%. The big things, do I think he's going to go back on? Like Luke is not dead and Snoke is actually alive? No, I don't think he can. I think he will honor that. But I'm telling you, I've said it before, I will say it again. There is no doubt in my mind that J.J. Abrams was pissed about what Rian Johnson did. 100%. He can't tell you that. He can't make you see that. He has to play the political cinematic rhetoric game. Of course he does. But I have no doubt in my mind that on his own time with his buddies over a beer, having a barbecue on a Saturday night, he said to his buddies, what the fuck did they just do? What the fuck did Rian Johnson just do? He ruined it. He ruined everything I gave him. So it is one of the reasons why I think JJ came back. I think if The Last Jedi had been critically well received by fans, like even way better than The Force Awakens, JJ would not have come back. I don't think he would have come back. No. I think he came back to right the wrongs as best as he can. And I think Disney brought him back to do that. Yes, I do. So in JJ I trust. I love what he did with The Force Awakens. I don't agree with everything he did, but for the most part, The Force Awakens it was what it needed to be. So yeah, in JJ I trust. If Rian Johnson was doing Episode 9, I probably wouldn't even go see it in the theater. But in JJ I trust. Doesn't mean I'm going to like it as much as I did The Force Awakens, but I have a feeling that because of the backlash of TLJ, they're going to deliver something as best as they can. We might walk away. We might not walk away going, that was unbelievable, but we might walk away going, okay, all right. I get what they had to do. Okay. Yeah, it was good. It was good. It's okay. It was good. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. Anthony Scarpula says, do you like the Toxic Avenger? That's funny you say that. Years ago, the Toxic Avenger, I don't know if it still is, but it came to Toronto as a stage play. And I did a bunch of television ads for it. The Toxic Avenger. I haven't seen the Toxic Avenger movie, though. And I haven't even seen the stage play. My only experience with the Toxic Avenger, because obviously it was a B horror movie from the 80s, I think, was just when I was doing those ads. And that was like, 2009, 10 maybe, somewhere around there. Long time ago. Austin Cheney says, Dave, which film in the Friday the 13th franchise do you feel is comparable to Halloween 5 in terms of how dog shit it is? That's a good question. I'm going to say Jason Goes to Hell. Well, Jason Goes to Hell might be the Halloween Resurrection of the Friday series. And Jason Goes to Manhattan, or Takes Manhattan, I should say, might be the Halloween 5. That's what I'll say to that. Let me scroll here. We'll go a little bit longer. Let me see. David Knopp. Are you a fan of the Conjuring universe? If so, what are your thoughts about the new Annabelle movie? Boy, it's amazing. When I do live streams, I get people who must not watch my channel that often. Yes, I love the Conjuring series. Tony, Michael, and I on our podcast, Two Dudes and Some Bullshit, which is on my channel. You can go. It was a couple of episodes back, so a couple of weeks ago, we talked nothing but the Conjuring universe. So you can check that out. It's on there. Robert Hendrickson says, favorite quote from La Bamba. Richie! Isn't that what he says at the end of the movie? I think it's what he says. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's what he says. I haven't seen La Bamba in so long. Oh my God. Lou Diamond Phillips, right? I think that was him playing Richie Valens. If it's a La Bamba I'm thinking of, the one that you're talking about. No One Wonder Fan says, thoughts on Adrienne Barbeau returning to new Swamp Thing and Creepshow TV series. I think it's great. Yeah, look, why not? Why not? That'll add some credence and some credibility to Swamp Thing and Creepshow, so why not? Yeah, I think that's fun. She's probably got nothing else going on at the moment. No disrespect to her, but you know what I mean. The Film Addict says, favorite scene from The Fog. Also, Tom Atkins looks weird without his mustache. Favorite scene from The Fog? I assume you mean the 1980 original. Oh, man. Some good shit in there. I really like when they come. There's a lot. There's a lot of scenes that I like. One that stands out to me, though, is when they make it into the church and the pirate is standing there and it's all practical effects and you just see like the red eyes, right? They're glowing, I think, right? Yeah. And they're just kind of there. And it's just that I love it. I love it. But just seeing the fog rolling in and the monologue at the beginning, you know, when he's like, what does he say? It's midnight, you know, or whatever. And he goes on this monologue talking about the ship, and it's just a great, and the music's great. It's probably my favorite John Carpenter score outside of Halloween, next to The Thing. I would say that's probably it. So, there's a lot of scenes in there. I like the scene with Charles Cypress, his character, when they're knocking at the door. I love the knocks, you know, boom, boom. Oh yeah, it's great. The whole movie's it's like watching a Twilight Zone episode. This B movie, both Halloween, The Fog, they both strike me as like just extended Twilight Zone episodes. You know, it's just really cool shit. I love that. A couple of super chats here. Thank you, H2 Finest. Thank you. Thoughts on standalone Loomis film? Doesn't necessarily have to have Michael. Could be another disturbed patient. No. Because why? I mean, the whole identity of Dr. Loomis is Michael Myers. Now, I understand that he presumably had a long career prior to meeting Michael Myers. So you could do that, but I just think that he's so intertwined with the character of Michael Myers, he's not enough of a draw to... It's a Loomis backstory. I don't think anybody cares. In the big picture again, okay? In the big picture. It's not going to make money. I mean, maybe if you want to do a Halloween TV series, you might be able to do that, I guess, but... I just, as a film, as a movie, I don't think it would work, and I just really don't care about his backstory. He was a doctor who did a lot of things and helped a lot of people, and his most famous patient was Michael Myers, and that's all I need to know. Okay, Nathan Oswald, I saw Shazam today and loved it. Everyone go see it. I've been hearing great things. Maybe Shazam is a movie that I will go see. Because it does look fun. And again, I'm not emotionally attached to the superhero genre, but it does look like a fun movie. I will say that. So maybe, let's see, what I got going on. Maybe my girlfriend and I will go see it. Won't go see it this weekend, though. Maybe we'll go see it like next Tuesday or something. Yeah, maybe we'll go see it next Tuesday. Shazam would be a fun movie to go see, you know. And she's not into superhero films either, but we both can. It looks like a movie that you can have a lot of fun with regardless, right? So I'm glad I've been hearing really great things. So yeah, we'll see. Let's see here. I'm looking for somebody I haven't. Scott Beckett says 12 o'clock, the 21st of April. There, thank you. 12 o'clock, the 21st of April. That's what he says. He sounds old. Well, no, he's not that old. He's not, hey, it's 12 o'clock, the 21st of April. All right, kids, I'm going to tell you a fucking ghost story. It has to do with fog and pirates and treasure and 100 years. And they're going to come here and they're going to kill us all. They're going to kill us all, I say. Aren't you glad I'm here, you little fuckers? That'd be amazing. The Horror Junkie 78 says, if you could remake a Stephen King adaptation, what would you choose? I don't know. There's a lot of bad Stephen King adaptations out there. Maybe Dreamcatcher. I like the premise of Dreamcatcher. I've always thought it was interesting, but it was a garbage movie. That's one movie that might be ripe for a remake. might be ripe for a remake and really in hopefully competent hands. You know what I'm saying?
Harold, where are you?
I'm telling the kids a fucking ghost story.
Well, bring them inside for cookies.
Shut up, bitch. And then there's like a domestic dispute between this old man and this old lady, and the kids are around the campfire going like, what the fuck's going on in there? And all you hear in the distance is, hey, listen here, you son of a bitch.
Harold, put down that shotgun.
It's like, what kind of fog movie is this? All right, I'm about to take the shotgun and get ready, baby. I'm coming in. Yes, that's right. Get the damn cookies. Let's see here. Nathan Oswald says, do the kids want mayo on the... Do the kids want
mayo on their sandwiches?
Can you imagine if your grandmother... That'd be creepy as hell. Shut up, Betty!
Shut up, Harold.
And she's standing at the door in like this dress, and she's like,
are you coming in for some fun?
And the kids are like, oh, gross, gross. And the grandpa's like, all right, kids, that's my cue. I gotta go get some action. Oh, baby. Aaron Ponder says, Halloween anthology movie next, Dave? Halloween anthology movie next? What's your question? Halloween anthology movie next, Dave? Do I think they should just go the anthology route? I think it should be an option on the table. Let's see. Tyler Trigg says, thoughts on Jeepers Creepers? I like the first one. Not crazy on the second one. Never saw the third one. Phoenix Rage says, you going to see the M.A. movie? The Ma? No idea what Ma is. What the fuck is Ma, Phoenix Rage? Come on, you son of a bitch! Come on, be clear! I need it clear, you little bastard, you! The Film Addict favorite Queen song. Oh, man, why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me, Film Addict? Favorite Queen song. You know, there's a lot. I mean, you know, I will probably say... I don't know, Radio Gaga, Another One Bites the Dust, We Are the Champions, We Will Rock You, Bohemian Rhapsody, what's that one, there's a lot. I off the top of my head, Another One Bites the Dust. I love that beat, but I love so many of their shit. Freddie Mercury was awesome. And Freddie Mercury, I'm telling you, in the original Halloween from 1978, Freddie Mercury, I believe, was the guy lying in the bushes. When Dr. Loomis gets off the phone and he goes over and he picks up the white sheet and he picks up the rabbit and red matchbook and the camera pans, you see Freddie Mercury lying in the bushes naked. I'm telling you, it was Freddie fucking Mercury. And all that was needed at that moment was Another One Bites the Dust to just suddenly come in. Oh, I should do an edit. That would be funny. That'd be funny to do an edit like that. Let's see here. Well, it's funny, actually. Daniel Hammond says, you sound just like the grandpa from The Simpsons. Actually, not entirely. The grandpa from The Simpsons is more, oh, well, all right. Well, I don't see what's going on. He's kind of more down. Oh, now, more down there. I keep mine up here like this. All right, you son of a bitch. Where the Grandpa Simpson's more kind of down there. But I've been doing my old man voice for years. Ever since I was a teenager, I had to perfect it. Yes, it is. All right, you little fucker. And mine is always like, he's always so vulgar. My old man's always so vulgar. All right, now give me that fucking knife, you piece of shit. Oh, all right. All right, you want to shave with it? Let's shave, baby. Rob Tadrina says, did you watch The Dirt on Netflix based on Motley Crue? I have not yet. I'm watching Dark right now on Netflix, which is a German show dubbed in English, and it's very creepy and eerie, Stranger Things-esque. Really good. If you guys haven't checked it out and you don't mind the kung fu of the dubbing, it's really good. Jim Dorsey says, hi, Dave. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to you as well. Bobby Hall says, The Fog has awesome cinematography. It does. Dean Cundy once again, ladies and gentlemen. You know, we forget. I mean, Dean Cundy, man, one of the greatest DPs of all time. That's director of photography, not the kind of DP you're thinking about, ladies and gentlemen. Get your mind out of the gutter. Yeah, I went there, all right. Oh, fuck. The shit I do to entertain you fellows. Let's see. Dean Cundy follows me on Instagram. Awesome. That's awesome. I don't have Instagram. David Ferguson says, what do you think of the rumor of Brian Johnson back recording? I love it. I don't know if Brian Johnson has... I don't know if he has the strength to tour, because that might be an issue with his hearing, if the hearing really was the issue. And he certainly can't hit the notes that he used to be able to hit, but I certainly think he's more than capable of recording a studio album. More than capable. And he's the voice of AC/DC. Listen, there's Bon Scott, and I love Bon Scott. But Brian Johnson has he is the voice of AC/DC. He was there all through the 80s, also, you know, through the 90s, all through the 2000s. I mean, he is the voice of AC/DC. So although when Bon Scott died, they replaced him with Brian Johnson. And back then, I mean, you watch Brian Johnson in 1980 ripping out Back in Black. Oh my God. Very different than Bon. But holy shit, right? Like, it was like, I mean, that, like, you couldn't have asked for a better, like, lightning in a bottle. I mean, how do you... But although they replaced a singer in Bon, when Bon died, AC/DC was on the cusp of becoming huge and a worldwide household name, right? They had just had the Highway to Hell, and they were just like, oh, who is this? And then he dies. So I'm not saying it was easy to replace him. It was a huge risk. But it's not like he was the singer of AC/DC for 35 years, right? As Brian, it's like, you can't replace Brian Johnson now. It's too old, too far gone. You can't do that. It doesn't mean that Axl Rose didn't do a decent job completing the rest of the tour, but he shouldn't become the voice or the lead singer of AC/DC. He's fucking Guns N' Roses. I don't want to hear it. I don't want it. Like, either it's Brian Johnson, and if it's not him, then you just retire. Or you stop touring, and maybe you play at a live performance where it's a one-off show, right? Not a big deal. Maybe at an award show or something where you're not touring, and Brian Johnson can belt out, a couple of songs, and it's not a big deal. If not, then you just call it quits. You had a great run. It's fucking Angus Young. It's him. It's his baby, and he's fucking stubborn as all hell. But yeah, Brian Johnson is AC/DC now. I mean, you can't replace him. It's not like, I mean, if Brian Johnson had died in 1985, maybe you would have been able to replace him, but not now. No way. So I'm very curious to see how that unfolds. All right, we'll go to 11:30. We'll go to 11:30, ladies and germs. Let's see here. Another super chat from H2 Finest. Thank you for the super chat. Favorite obscure movie? Mine, The Baby. From 73. Favorite obscure movie? You mean a movie like that's kind of not a lot of people talk about? That's sort of under the radar? That's probably what you mean. Favorite obscure movie? That's a good question. You know what came to mind because you wrote The Baby is a movie from the 80s that I loved as a kid called Baby that dealt with dinosaurs. Does anybody remember that movie? It's from, let's see here, Baby 1985. It's from 1985, and it's called Baby, Secret of the Lost Legend is the subtitle, but I just knew it as Baby. And it stars, what's his face? The guy that was also in House. Yes, William Catt. Do you guys remember that? It was from 1985. And that's right, the Baby Brontosaurus film. That's right. That's a movie that a lot of people have not fucking seen, or they don't think about, or whatever the case is. And that's a movie that I actually really liked as a kid. So that's an obscure movie, not quite on the level that you're talking about, but it's a kid's movie, and it's one that you don't hear a lot of people mention. I really liked it as a kid. I haven't seen it probably since 1987 or something, but it was fun. It was fun. Okay. John Medina says, hey, Dave, have you seen the new teaser trailer for the Joker movie? Yes, I have. My thoughts on it will be this coming Sunday night on Two Dudes and Some Bullshit, my podcast with Tony Michael, right here on this channel, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Look out for that. Der Totsking says, another stream with Bruce soon, Dave? Yes, definitely. We want to do it. Bruce is busy at the moment, flying across Canada, across the country, of course. He's going to the different locations for William F. White International, which is the company he works for here in Toronto, which is the largest supplier of lighting and grip gear in Canada. So that's when Hollywood comes up to Toronto or to Canada, that they will tend to use White's. There are other competitors as well, but White's is the largest. So he's flying across the country at the moment. He's back in Toronto this weekend, but then he flies back out to Calgary on Monday. So he's doing some training and shit like that. So that's going to take up the vast majority of April. So, but definitely Bruce and I are going to be doing more live streams. He's a wealth of knowledge in a certain part of the industry that I'm not. So I tend to rely on him for certain things. I've learned a lot through him as well. So he's great. I mean, he's just a awesome dude. So yes, he definitely will be joining me on these shows, in the future. Let's see. Oh, you know what? Another great movie too. Joanna from Canada said, I wouldn't mind seeing a remake of Enemy Mine. The movie Enemy, which was shot here in Toronto with Jake Gyllenhaal, directed by Denis Villeneuve, who is, of course, did Blade Runner 2049, and I think it was him. Was it not? I think he did that, right? I think he did that. I think he did Enemy. Let me just see here. Did he do Enemy? Positive he did. Yes, he did. From 2013. That's a great psychological horror. Or not a horror, but a psychological film. So if none of you have seen that movie, Enemy, with Jake Gyllenhaal, was shot right up here in Toronto and the GTA, the Greater Toronto Area. Check out that too, because that's one that has seemed to have slipped under the radar as well. So yeah, look for that. Okay, 2 more minutes, ladies and germs, and then we're going to call it a night for this Friday night live stream. I appreciate everyone who tuned in. You guys rock. This was spur of the moment again. I just was rapping. I said, why not jump on, talk to you guys? Why not? Let's see here. And of course, as usual, folks, you know, if I don't answer your questions, it's not personal. It's just a lot of stuff going by, and I'm usually always quite thorough with my answers, so I take up a lot of time. Let's see here. Scrolling, maybe somebody I haven't answered yet. Let's see. Bobby Hall says remake Salem's Lot. Yeah, Salem's Lot was pretty good. Yeah, that's one that you could start thinking about. I agree with that. Dan Curley, have you seen Company of Wolves? I have not. I've never even heard of it. I'm going to check it out, though, because I like the title. I'll Google it after the show. The Horror Junkie 78, name one thing you did like about Halloween 5. I did that earlier. I like the opening credit sequence with the pumpkin and the carving. I thought that was kind of cool. Let's see here. Phoenix Rage, Hellraiser remake or sequel to Halloween 2018? I would pick Hellraiser remake, because I don't think Halloween 2018 needs a sequel. Now, again, I am doing a sequel concept video that's still coming, okay? That's still coming. But I don't think there needs to be one, okay? The video that I do about my idea for it is, again, as if somebody said, we're going to do it. You've been hired to do it. What do you think we should do? Okay, well, here's what I think you should do. Right? But it's not an endorsement that I think there needs to be one, just so we have that kind of straight. And I'll mention that again in that video when I eventually get around to it. Bobby Hall says, Dave, do you like the ending in A Nightmare on Elm Street? I think it's a bit cheesy, and it kind of makes the message of the movie pointless. Well, yeah. I mean, it's never really, I've never seen it as cheesy, but I definitely see that's not what Wes Craven wanted to do, right? But it was, what's his face that said, no, we need an ending in case we need, we want to make a sequel, right? What the fuck's his face? The head of New Line there. You'll tell me. Robert Shea. Robert Shea, right? Yeah. He wanted the fucking ending like that. So, I don't know. Yeah. The blow up doll ruined the ending. But you want to know though? It happened so quick that I don't even you don't even realize it's a blow up doll. At least not to me. In the behind the scenes stuff and in the certain, you see that, yeah, you realize it, but it happens so fucking quick. I don't even see it it happens so fast. But anyways, folks, that's going to do it for me on this live stream here on this April the 5th, 2019. It's 11:31 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think you guys rock. Thank you for tuning in. I am always thankful for the support to the channel, of course. I think you guys are awesome. So look for tomorrow night at around 8:30, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. For those of you that are not part of my Patreon or are part of my Patreon but only part of the first level, there is another Saturday movie night coming tomorrow night. Look out for that. That'll be up on my channel for everybody to see at around 8:30, 9 o'clock. It's the first Child's Play from 1988, so look out for that. And then, of course, on Sunday night, Tony Michael and I have Two Dudes and Some Bullshit at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so look out for that. So, in the meantime and in between time, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for keeping it respectful in the chat room. You guys can banter back and forth, argue until your heart's content. As long as you're doing it civilly, I think that's totally awesome because we are all on the same team. We are all in this together. Okay, enough of that bullshit. Okay, anyway. I'll talk to you guys soon. All right. Cheers.